So most brands fail not from bad products, but because they avoid the boring things that seven-figure brand owners, they obsess over. There's a pattern to every seven-figure brand that I've helped. It's not sexy, it's not viral, but it works every single time. Because the difference between a brand that dies at 20K per month and the one that compounds into a $1 million machine, seven-figure per month brand, comes down to what they don't avoid. Every lesson I'm gonna be sharing with you is pulled from working with thousands of clothing brand owners from all over the world, watching what actually moves revenue, and seeing the same mistake on repeat. The first thing they do is they learn to reflect and move intentionally. So the best founders read, but more importantly, they implement slowly and strategically. They know that outside of their products, their operations in business must improve by a minimum of 20 to 25% from the change that they make, because if they make the moves because there's something new or they're chasing that shiny object, I know that's not you, then it actually will slow them down. You'll get a decrease because operationally, unless it's just you have to go and get that across the board, across your team to be able to implement. And so people can't get good at their jobs if they continue to have things change over and over again. So there's a streetwear brand that we work with in 2022 that had some killer drops. It's typically 60 to 80K per drop, but they were young and only focused on top line revenue. So when he came to us, he was asking why he actually wasn't rich. He is a younger guy. It's like all of his friends who did similar numbers, his cost per acquisition was actually really good. It was decent. He didn't have a ton of overhead. Okay, I think it was him and like one other person, but he didn't understand margins. Much like in real estate, you do not make money when you sell, you make money when you buy. So in the apparel space, your margin is the most important component of your business. And I say that hands down. The only number I care about for you guys is profit. He did have to come to us for more help and details on how to scale, but if he would have just read the Lean Startup or the E-Myth Revisited, he would have learned all of this on his own, and then when he came to us, we could talk about scaling other areas of the business. We did increase his margins to 60% minimum, trying to get it closer to that 75-80%, and we added an Evergreen model to the business for easier forecasting. So instead of just doing drops and doing like 5 or 6 per year, we had an Evergreen winning product that we continue to update and iterate on that allowed for consistent revenue on the months that we were not doing drops. Therefore, they don't just consume the content. These people who are brand owners, they don't just consume the content, they translate it into calculated action that compounds. Hi y'all, I just wanted to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. So my name is Aaron, and alongside my business partner, Christian, we built this channel for you. If you're a clothing brand owner, our goal is to give you the tools to build a profitable clothing brand that could change your life and your family's future. And if you've found any value in this video so far, please give us a nice little like and subscribe. It is 100% free, and it really does help the channel grow. And P.S., if you do this in the next 3 seconds, I'll share with you my favorite entrepreneur right now. So they find a way to sweat. Every 7-figure founder that I have met personally and have talked to, they move their body, not just for the abs, which, that's cool, but for the clarity. The gym, running, a long walk, martial arts, jujitsu, whatever, don't come at me, but something primal that reminds them that they do hard things, because brand building, that's freaking hard. And they train their nervous system for it daily. So for example, I run 6 times per week and lift 3 times per week, not because it feels good, because most of the time it actually doesn't. But waking up 4:30, 5 in the morning doesn't get any easier. I don't care what people say to you, like I've created a habit out of it, but it doesn't get easier. But there's just something about running 1.5 mile repeats at 6 in the morning that just makes customers and product problems that much easier to solve. Most of my ideas and visions for this company have come from the clarity that I get from thinking by myself on a run. Therefore, I really just sweat to get unstuck. Look y'all, so if you're looking to get more clarity on why your clothing brand isn't growing, why it should be, you can schedule a free strategy call with us. All you need to do is pick a time on the calendar that works best for you. You can check out the link in the description down below. Obviously, the spots are limited, so go do that right now. They also guarantee volume to kill the volatility. So the difference between a brand that scales and one that spikes, volume. 7-figure brands crank out content, emails, product designs depending on your approach to business, and moments of attention. So anything that they can do to put out volume of things, and specifically I've had to put this out in everything, would just be content. I was talking to a new hat company the other day, and they were killing it with ads, but they were all over the place when it came to revenues. Now, they did start to get their ads dialed in, it's even better, but they were living feast and famine type of days. For example, some days they were $3,000 a day, other days they were $500 a day, and the fix was easy. And it's one that everyone can do, but they'll avoid it like the plague. Posting more content, showing up. If you're posting, for example, 5 times per week, know that the people posting 15 times per week are not just 3xing their output, they're significantly improving their likelihood of success because they will be content creators and they will have objective data to make better decisions. I would argue the person who is posting 15 times per week while you're posting 5, they're getting their businesses 300 to 600% better every single week. And over the course of a year, the gap is huge. Therefore, these types of people, they don't fear quiet days. They've outpaced them with consistency. This one's huge. So they think in years, not weeks. Most founders want this month to change their life. I mean, how many times did I talk to brand owners where they feel like they have to make $1 million today? But 7-figure founders play a longer game. They ask, what systems will still be working in 3 years? They hire slowly, they test before they scale, and they measure what actually matters. Will you grow slower this way? I mean, honestly, maybe, but maybe not. I do say this a lot, and you've probably seen it in videos too, is like, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. But again, I understand you want to be rich today. I get it, I hear it. I know that maybe some of you guys are struggling. Maybe some of you guys really need to get out of that job. But again, I understand you, I hear you. You want to be that rich person today, but I would rather you have a business that is around in 10 years versus living it up right now for the next 6 months. And we talk about this a lot. I've drawn this out in many videos that storytelling is absolutely crucial. There's no good story where people who are like, yeah, I started a clothing brand. It was super easy. You know that's a lie if you've been around for a while. It was super easy. I made 7 figures. I moved on, right? There's a reason that you're watching this video right now is because it is not easy. And your story, the behind the scenes, the story that you're going to be able to tell because of the tough times, that's why people are going to be drawn in. They find silence and eliminate distraction. So Jesus was one of the most influential communicators in history. You can argue whether you're a Christian or you're not. It is just plain and simple, objectively true. And he was never in a hurry. I also argue he's one of the most prolific marketers of all time. So if somebody as profound and somebody as intentional as Jesus was slow to do the things that everyone was rushing to do, and somebody who is such an amazing marketer who was able to spread his message across the world to billions of people, I think that maybe we can learn something from that. 7-figure founders embrace intentional stillness. They block their calendar to think. They create white space because clarity requires the quiet. So Christian and I, my business partner, we started this company and we were the same way, like turn and burn, constantly have to continue to keep going. We brought some people on our podcast in like 2018 or something like that. And they were business coaches and they were talking to us about, hey, you should do some time, and we called it creative reflection. You should do some creative reflection, which as of this recording right now, it's typically a 2 to 3 hour period once a week where we just have white space. We can have conversations. We can go deeper in the business. Now once a month, we do a half day. So it's like 4 to 5 hours of creative reflection. And then once that was going, we actually moved into a quarterly retreat. And the quarterly retreat is typically 5-6 days of just nonstop focus on the business, giving us the white space to move things forward. And surprisingly, we stepped away from the business, we slowed down, we had more white space, and the business grew. We thought the only way to grow the company was just continue to burn and bleed our eyes out and just grab a hold of the hustle culture. Now, don't get me wrong. I think you've got to work hard and you've got to work smart. But I think the part about working smart is actually not rethinking the way that you do things, but actually slowing down so that you can see the game at a different pace. I look at this as the same way an NBA player can slow the game down in their head and they can see the next moves that they want to make in the game, versus just constantly moving forward and you really have no clarity on what the next steps in your business are. It's very difficult to see the forest between the trees when you're always staring at the trees. So they also focus on the back-end sales, not just the customer acquisition cost. Now, that's flashy. Honestly, tons of people, they say like, hey, you got to tell us what our CAC's going to be, or they don't hire us as an agency or whatever else. And honestly, I'm like, yes, it is important. But repeat purchase behavior is what pays the bill. 7-figure brand owners, they obsess over this. Lifetime value by the product. repeat rate by the actual channel. Where am I profitable? Is Meta making me money? Is Klaviyo making me money? Where am I making my money? Where am I getting my second, my third, my fourth purchases? Because what happens after the first purchase, that's what matters. There's a brand out of Frisco, Texas I was talking to recently, and I wasn't able to actually see them. I was actually out in Broken Bow, and I was just talking on the phone, so I wasn't able to see them. But I was talking to him, and he was not necessarily a client yet, but he was talking to me about his brand, and he's doing about 100K per month. Conversion rate was good, 2.5% conversion rate. Average order value was about $75. The returning customer rate, this is the number. Right? This is the number of why he was losing money. 10% of the people were coming back. 90% of people did not even come up close to returning to him. He was at 10%, and that was like on a high quarter. He had okay margins, so he was making some money, but barely. He had to make $100,000 per month to make any type of profit at all. And if the cost went up, he would be going into the red very quickly, right? If it costs more for the ads, by even just a couple of dollars per acquisition, he would literally turn this business and it would go into the ground. Now, we talked through 3 ways to make more money right away for him that every single brand should be doing and should be implementing, okay? So in order of profit, email, please send emails. How many times did I speak to you guys on the other end here, or you speak to our consultants, and you guys are like, oh no, I'm only doing 1 email a week. I'm like, you guys have got to send more emails. SMS, don't do it until you get a couple hundred people on your list, but like for sure. And then MiniChat, okay? If you're not doing those things, you guys have got to set those things up. They're absolutely crucial to getting back-end sales. One other thing too is that like for MiniChat, I have it set up. We are a partner affiliate, however you want to look at it. But if you want to try out MiniChat or have always been thinking about trying out MiniChat, you can comment the word MiniChat down below and I'll send you a link that I have so you can get 1 month for free. Just go try it out, cancel it anytime. But that way you guys can check it out for yourselves. So they know they'll fall to their systems. And what I mean by that, you don't rise to the level of your goals. Everybody says that. You fall to the level of your systems. If you have no systems, right? 7-figure business owners build SOPs, so standard operating procedures for launches. I honestly had no clue what an SOP was before I started this company. But you've got to have weekly dashboards, you've got to have scorecards, and you don't need tons of different numbers and details and specifics. You really got 5, 6, maybe 7 main numbers that you need to look at, right? Your profit, your loss, your average order value, lifetime value, conversion rate, return customer. Like once you got those, like nothing else matters. You've got to have an opportunity for you to review your creative. You have to have an idea for understanding what does your flow look like in your business, because in chaos, you'll revert back to the muscle memory. I've done this. Before we created this document, it was hard to get consistency in our ads. So for ads, before we had this document, we were literally just kind of guessing, going probably like you, subjective opinion. This ad worked, this ad one didn't. Other than us looking at it and saying this ad isn't working and turning it off, we just kind of left it by the side and didn't go back to it. But this goes into several different layers so you can objectively change the difference here between your brands. So you have desires and features and benefits about products. You have your custom avatar, which are absolutely crucial to do. If you don't know who your struggling avatar is and the problem that you're solving and how to get people to go on this journey with you, the chance of you being a 7-figure company is also extremely low. But if you want a document that walks you through the avatar assignment, you can comment the word avatar. I'll send it to you. I won't go through that right now for this video, but we do hit on it a lot. And then you have the creative roadmap, which is very simple, right? What ads are running? Is it working well? What are the concepts? What are your notes about it? Like all of this information is extremely important so you can have objective data to go back for ads to get the consistency. This is the part that people don't talk about. They're like, well, turn ads on and turn them off and speak to the right person. But without a process, when you start to scale this thing up, it's very difficult, right? So even during the chaos, as long as we follow our process, we know we will get consistent results because it has great inputs, and so the outputs will be very similar as well. One of the biggest things I will say from anything, if you do nothing else with your marketing, with your ads, if you nail the offer and just leave it alone, most small brands actually don't. They can't stop tweaking their dang stuff. They try to get a new product, new discount, new bundle every single month. But 7-figure brands, they build one repeatable, irresistible offer, then run it until it stops working. I have here the clothing offer equation, and I've built this out as a GPT, but I'll show you this right here. Basically, it's a formula that we created. So this is style aspiration times quality and fit divided by the waiting time plus shopping friction and price sensitivity. And I have this as objective data to basically understand what is the problem in your business. It will give you an objective score. And this will give you objective data to understand why your brand is actually working or not working. It is on the framework that is the 6 ones that we have continued to talk about, which are one audience, one offer, one message to that audience, one traffic source, one winning product for 1 year. Okay, that framework along with this offer equation to figure out where are the weak points in your business will make everything else simpler, easier, and you can change your offer to meet people, your customer, where they're at. If you want this clothing offer equation, I know I'm kind of like loading these up here towards the end of the video. That's not my intention, but if you want this document too, come with the word clothing. I'm hoping to have the GPT probably by the time this is recording. You can comment it. I'll either send you the GPT or I'll send you the actual document. But just comment the word clothing down below and I'll send it over to you. They're afraid, but do it anyway. This is the one that most won't say out loud. The best founders, they're scared. Scared of failing, of letting their families down, of looking dumb. There's an internal battle that is constantly going on in their head, but they know that they have a goal that is bigger than the fear, and they do it anyway because they're more afraid of the regret. And when I first started out with this company with Christian, one of the biggest things we did, he worked in Oklahoma and I worked here in Texas, and we did it through FaceTime in the evenings. When we gave notice to the companies that we had worked at the time, I think the business bank account had like $2,000 in it, which is absolutely insane. I would not suggest that to anybody, but however, our goals were much bigger than just the $2,000 in our bank account. Was it crazy? Absolutely. Do we regret it? Absolutely not. Who knows? If you wait for the perfect moment, it may not come. But you've got to do things that make you scared every single day because that is where the growth happens. All right, so let's pull back for about 30 seconds. I'm going to put this all on the whiteboard for you guys. You got to ask yourself, where are you at? Be honest with yourself. Are you somebody who chases ROAS? Somebody who scrambles for content, hires from the actual panic of the business, avoids discomfort? Or, right, and you may be a mix of both, or are you the person who tracks long-term LTV, lifetime value of the customer? Are you somebody who batches content and repurposes it and continues to put your message out there? Are you somebody who hires from clarity? You're a little bit slower, you're not chasing the person. I know you want to grow fast, but are you hiring from clarity? Are you building systems? Do you have the spreadsheet? Do you have the tools in place so that you can continue to grow with a solid foundation? And most importantly, honestly, do you sweat daily? Are you working out or are you cheating yourself every single day? What's going on? So here's the truth. Most people avoid these things because they're not shiny. But the brands of scale, they obsess over the unsexy. You don't need more hacks. You need discipline around the right levers. And if you're ready for that next step and you're ready to put gasoline on that fire, you're ready to start scaling your brand, you've got to go watch this video on Instagram ads right here next. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. We will see you next time. And P.S., make sure you subscribe.